illustrate a player who has led this team this season in these types of situations is Katie.
She's got a really good, smooth lefty swing. She primarily does extremely well on the outer half of the plate, but so far this year, 5 for 7 with runners in scoring position. That is a whopping 7.14 average with runners in scoring position.
Coming inside for ball one. Well, Kelly Lynch, who last weekend debuted in a Tiger uniform at the LSU Invitational, 74 innings in the circle, held opponents to under 1 at the plate. Different type of competition this time around, and that one's pulled, but it looks like it's out of here. You said she was swinging for number 3. There it is.
A mature and veteran at bat by Hannah Katie. She watched the changeup go by for a ball, so she knew she was probably going to see something up in the zone. We've talked about it. Up in the zone is Kelly Lynch's bread and butter, and she goes straight after this rise ball, gets her barrel on the bottom half of that ball, and drives it right down that right field line. Like where she was standing in the box, too, a little bit further up in the box to try to take away some of that late break on the rise ball that Lynch has. Another timely piece of hitting for Hannah Katie to go ahead and up that batting average with runners in scoring position this season.
Number 3, meaning number 3, the number of runs put up on the board off the swing of Hannah Katie, her first home run of the season. And the Wildcats jump on the board first. And Ray takes that one inside. We talked about just kind of the mixture of players that you referenced in the open, some of the experience, but also some of the newcomers and faces, and Emma Ray is one of them. A lot of promise with this freshman class for Northwestern, and coming to this invitational allows for them to get early season experience against top opponents and elite talent.
And it's a great time to see where your team's at, right? We have to keep reminding ourselves that it's just the middle of February, although these games really do have a postseason feel. But these coaches are learning along with the players. Talking to a lot of them before this tournament, they said they're just trying to figure out where is going to be the best places to maybe bring in a relief pitcher, maybe bring in a pinch hitter. Those are the types of things that they're figuring out. And even if you have a similar looking roster to the year before, the team could be completely different in the style that they play.
Swung on and struck out. So second strikeout of the inning for Kelly Lynch. You talk about all those pieces that return for LSU. Beth Torina in her 13th season as the head coach of the Tigers feels like Lynch can be a huge difference maker for a deep pitching staff in the circle. Brianna Lindsay is now at the plate for Northwestern, but going back to Lynch, how this inning started. Led off with a walk from Kelsey Nader. Another free pass to Angela Zedek set up that opportunity for Hannah Katie to blast her first shot out the park to get to this 3-0 lead for Northwestern, as Beth Torina interested to see how Kelly Lynch and this squad respond after giving up that long ball. 13th season, she's done an amazing job down in Baton Rouge.
And you and I were talking about it before the game, too. Giving up the solo shot isn't going to hurt you in the game, but when you give up a couple of free passes and then you give up the home run, that's what can really hurt you, and that's exactly what happened here in the top of the first inning for Kelly Lynch. So now you're trying to fight and claw your way back before your team's even had a chance to pick up their bats yet. But the job for her now is to try to keep the score as it is so that her offense can get her back into this ballgame.
This one popped up. Lindsey Bergeron ends the inning. But first, let's take a look back at how Northwestern jumped in.
Hannah Katie going after this rise ball up and inside, just turns on it, blasts it out to right field, and Northwestern has the early 3-0 lead. And a high-pressure situation for Ashley Miller. You want to bring the ball into the strike zone because you've got no outs, because you've got the bases loaded, but also you got to be very careful with a batter like Petty, who does have some pop in her bat. She's been off to a phenomenal start this season.
LSU with the bases loaded, hitting .500 as a team. Petty was looking to drive in some runs here. The snap throw back to third. He is safe.
Murray, just a freshman, but she is very aggressive back behind the plate. She looks for those opportunities to catch some base runners sleeping.
Petty saw that change of speed. You see the little clutch there, in for a strike.
It's an interesting pitch. It moves. It almost has a mind of its own when she lets go of it. It doesn't move in a traditional change-up manner.
Grabs the lead.
Big smile on Carly Petty's face. Danger just top to bottom in this LSU lineup. Turns on his pitch, looks like a drop ball that just gets past the glove of Kelsey Nader over at first base, but just a frozen rope out to that right field wall. Gonna easily score 2 runs, and look at how fired up she is as she gets safely into second base, looking straight at her dugout with a big smile.
Petty, who produced 35 RBI last season in her first year in Baton Rouge, brought in some experience and a couple of Women's College World Series appearances with her former team, Oklahoma State. And back to the top of the order for this LSU Tiger team, and Danica Coffey sees the Tigers remain in scoring position as Kate Drohan comes to the circle to have a visit. You know, this was a situation, honestly, all season, or the early part of the season, for Ashley Miller, that she found herself in good positions and with runners in scoring position or with runners on. She had done a good job to this point. And now Michelle Gascoigne is going to join. The pitching coach for the Wildcats is also going to come in on this conversation as the entire team has been brought in.
And you heard Coach Beth Arena talk about it briefly when we were just chatting with her about how LSU needed to continue to force Ashley Miller to bring her pitches into the strike zone. It's amazing what can happen when you force the pitcher to bring it into the zone, get you something that you can hit. And that's exactly what we saw from this offense. It looks like Northwestern's going to go ahead and make a pitching change here at the bottom of the inning.
And it's going to be the freshman. And so we'll tell you more about Riley Brzalonik when we come back here as LSU is threatened.
The Clearwater Bullets fast pitch team are in the house. Strike at the knees. Straight 2.
That changeup is working, and she's starting to throw it a lot more in backward counts, too. Really throwing Florida State off with just being able to locate that pitch a lot better.
Enfield drives it deep center field and over the wall for a home run. Her second of the season makes it a 1-run game.
Well, so this is interesting because the pitch prior was a 3-1 count, and Edenfield, I think she thought she had 2 strikes. She looked like she was struck out walking back on a changeup. So 3-1 changeup. Edenfield starts to leave thinking she's struck out. come back with another changeup. What does Edenfield do? Boom, blasts it out of the park. And she's like, I don't want to feel that again. I don't want to strike out again, at least in my head. The feeling of striking out. I'm going to make up for it right here.
That's right. And it is back to back. Hallie Waycaser, her first of the year. Wow, the last two pitches, home runs in its time.
And the sound off the bat is just so sweet. The crack of the bat and barreling up these last two pitches. Edenfield home run and then Waycaser home run. And Florida State able to tie up this game. We're just bragging on the Tinsley changeup. That wasn't it. The Edenfield one was. This one wasn't, trying to get up and in her hands, but she's just on time for it. Love the reacts in the dugout, especially Enfield's too, as she saw it go over the fence. She had a great react when she was headed to second base. I mean, look at the energy. I see new pitcher for UCLA.
Jada Cecil going to enter the game. As UCLA has seen their two-run lead disappear. Junior from Temecula enters the contest for the Bruins.
Jada Cecil, transfer pitcher for UCLA that they brought in. They're going to try to slow things down. She's not going to throw with the same velocity as Taylor Tinsley. More spinny, a little bit lower in the zone. This is where she got her outs last year at San Diego. More natural screw, curve, rise, change speeds too. 2023 Big West Pitcher of the Year. She's going to need to attack the zone and just try to be a different look. I mean, it's one of the things when you're coming in behind someone, you know they're throwing more rise ball, change up, try to work on expanding the strike zone, maybe keeping a little bit more at the knees. And just anything to be a different look. Sometimes it's a little extra pause at your pre-motion, just anything to try to get those hitters out of rhythm.
Speaking of home runs, how about this game going on right now? Northwestern and LSU. Here's Allie Newland with LSU down 4, and now they're not down 4 anymore. That is a grand slam center field in the bottom of the 6th inning. And LSU and Northwestern are tied at 12.
These games already have just been so wild. It's so many close games, too.
Yeah.
Well, you're never out of it, right? Even when
You're down by 6 runs. You're like, no, we're not out of it.
not a lot. I mean, you got to see a shutout yesterday, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of that here.
First time for back-to-back homers for Florida State since May 7th of 2022. Edenfield and Waycaser go back-to-back.
And I'm interested to see how UCLA works their pitchers today, because this is not just a one-off game that UCLA plays today. They have to then go on later to play Georgia. So having to face the FSU offense and then the Georgia offense is a tall task, even when you feel like you have a deep pitching staff, a couple of aces on your staff. I'm interested to see how they work it and how their pitchers react to these innings against these two good offenses.
Almost looked like it hit the knob of the bat as well, but apparently got some of the hand of Amaya Ross. Or off the elbow. Let's see. Oh, there's the Evo Shield coming into play. Got the elbow crack.
You become a lot more willing to take a hit by pitch when you have the Evo Shield guarding your elbow.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have two pitchers in the booth.
We just need Danielle here with us to...
Danielle Lori. That's all we need is you three together. Oh,
Mark was just wiping sweat off his brow. I saw that.
Ooh, imagine.
We need a defibrillator up here if that was the case.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I think Coach I may have thought what I initially thought, but then we see it and it was definitely off the elbow guard. But
well, and to the point too, you know, I think we've talked at times about the game and the river and, you know, the lines, the way that the river really on the inner half of the plate is non-existent anymore, where hitters are leaning over, and so pitchers, where do you throw? You throw on the corner, right? Or you try to come inside and you end up hitting batters. So it is an interesting conversation that coaches have during the NFCA meetings, and, you know, rule changes, and what do we do? Do we make the river larger? We are the same size as baseball, but yet our ball is larger than a baseball. Just
I love it when you make that point. I think that is such a wow moment, especially because of the Evo Shield mark. I know you're giving us a hard time about it, but you're not as scared to toe up on the line and completely take what is the river, the small river, away.
no, I don't doubt it. I mean, if I were forced to go up there, I'd be in a full body Evo Shield. So I understand why they wear them.
Maybe they can make one for you.
and then Amanda will
Yeah, maybe you need it to work together. You know, I can punch you a lot up here. So
You are a physical analyst, don't you? Well, number 20 and number 5 tied at 4. Coach I's had her say, and Kaylee Budge comes off the bench. There goes Ross. Safe. Her 5th stolen base in as many tries this year. Mudge hits it up the middle and into center field. Ross to the plate, throw coming home, and just a tad late from Alchin. Mudge off the bench gives Florida State back the lead at 5-4.
trying to get Mudge 100%, but when you have a senior leader like this come off the bench and just take a pitch on the upper half outside and drive it right back up the middle with the speed of Amaya Ross, easily going to score from second base. And the Knowles now have to lead back 5-4.
such a weapon to have somebody like her with the experience she has coming off the bench.
Fifth-year player coming through to give her team back the lead. UCLA discussing. Now, I don't think we've mentioned this dynamic. That Rob Schweier he's taken over the pitching. Lisa Fernandez has changed her role. It's different dynamic here than what we're used to with UCLA's pitching.
Yeah, Swire comes in as a new pitching coach, and he's obviously in the bullpen along with Kelly Inouye Perez, who, what great catcher in her day, wanted to really see what the pitchers were doing. So yeah, different mix-up. Lisa Fernandez now controlling more of the hitting, as well as Kirk Walker. I mean, Kirk can do it all.
Yeah, they all could dip their toe in the pitching department for sure. They all have before in their career and first season.
Yeah, he was Brooke Yanez's personal coach for a while, and did a lot of lessons and stuff there in the LA area. First pitch swinging, line to right. Megan Grant climbs the ladder to make the catch. Kerr absolutely undressed that ball and
next batter, shortstop.
Turns into a very loud out. Coming up tomorrow, college hoops begins with number 9 Duke and Florida State. That's 2 Eastern. Then from Norman, Kansas and OU. And finally, number 22 Kentucky and 13th ranked Auburn square off in a Sonic blockbuster. Say that fast. College game day. Our coverage begins with college game day, 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Luis Torres is grounded out and struck out. This one, Tesamala Ulu. So a couple loud outs to end the inning, but Florida State goes back-to-back.
They answer right back after UCLA gets on the board. Michaela Edenfield takes charge, hit the changeup out of here, and then Waycaser, they go back-to-back and score 3.
Ball
game, and this one's another one. She goes to the slap and drives it right down that left field line, and because it's spinning out towards left field, she's able to easily move herself into scoring position.
Celebration after as Renee Cunningham, who came into relief, is now going to exit the ball game, and Ashley Miller comes back in to the circle.
Seen that a couple of times on our field in both days. Yesterday was Wisconsin. Tessa Mignolo that came back into the game after starting the game. And then now here we are, Ashley Miller, after starting today's ball game, coming back in here in the bottom of the 7th.
What is it about these Big Ten SEC matchups on this field? Yesterday, Wisconsin, Georgia went to extra innings. The Bulldogs pulled it out in 10 innings, and here, another one tied up between Northwestern and LSU. Ashley Miller is going to inherit a runner at second base. That's Coffee.
Going to have to use that changeup of hers that we saw quite a bit at the beginning of this ball game. It's that pitch that has a mind of its own. It likes to move in all different directions. Try to use that to her advantage. See if maybe she can get a ground ball out here. Keep her team in this one.
She gave up 4 hits through 3 1/3 innings the first time she faced these LSU hitters. Stanford is looking on and waiting to take the field as they will take on the number 2 team in the country, the Tennessee Lady Vols, coming up next on this field over on ESPN2. At the conclusion of this one, they'll prepare the field and get ready. And the question is, who is Jessica Allister going to throw in the circle today for the Cardinal?
It's exactly what I was about to ask you, too. We've been talking about it all day long. What would we do? Who would we throw? And it is extremely difficult, an extremely difficult decision to make when you look at just the gauntlet of a schedule that they have to go through, right? It's not just one game. You're not just worried about Tennessee, but they go on to play Texas later on this evening. So you got to think about that second game today, too.
And the sacrifice bunt laid down beautifully by Sierra Briggs, and the winning run standing 60 feet from home.
Beautiful job of laying down a fundamental sacrifice bunt. That's one thing that the top of this order does extremely well for LSU. Both Danica Coffey and Sierra Briggs, they can lay down a bunt whenever you need it.
And Taylor Pleasant, who has been the best run producer on this team and one of the best in the country, finds herself in a very favorable situation. Chance to end this one.
Coach Gascoigne coming out to have a conversation with her battery. A lot of strategy on how you want to attack Taylor Pleasance up at the plate. Try to utilize what your strengths are as a pitcher, but also take into account where Taylor likes to hit the ball. She does a really nice job on pitches up and outside to her. Seems to be the hot spot for a lot of lefty batters.
Yeah. Remember their last walk-off win back in the month of February. You go back to when they faced off against Utah, and Pleasant was the hero. Can she do it again? If you poll some of the LSU players about what that moment felt like, Sierra Briggs, who's her teammate, says, look, that was my favorite moment while at LSU. I mean, that was pretty cool because it was right here in Clearwater, and her roommate was the hero then. Let's see if she could be the heroine once more. And the stat does still hold true. More RBI than at-bats this season for Taylor Pleasance.
thank Amanda Scarborough and Mark Neely for telling us that that's a stat that we need to keep track of.
It's teamwork. Okay. And they are going to intentionally walk Pleasance in this situation, understanding her prowess.
Looked like they were going to try to see what happened in the first couple of pitches, and then after Ashley Miller fell behind, just go ahead and put Taylor Pleasance on. But it's not like it gets any easier, because now you got to deal with Raylene Gutierrez, whose bat has just been on fire to start off this season. We even saw yesterday Wisconsin walk 2 batters in a row to load the bases. So then I look ahead and look at who's on deck. Well, it's just Allie Newland who's hit a grand slam in today's game.
Running for LSU at first base. Number 3,
Maya Townsend comes in as the pinch runner over at first base.
And now
That's
batting
what
at
we've
first base
constantly
is
said throughout the broadcast. I mean, the fact that there is just not much let up in this LSU lineup. Gutierrez's bat has been on fire. And now runners at the corner, 1 out.
Miller really trying to work that outside part of the zone to these lefty batters. Is not able to locate that strike consistently. Fell behind to Taylor Pleasance, already behind to Gutierrez.
Fouled off by Gutierrez.
Gutierrez possibly looking at that to hit something on the outside part of the plate. Looked like that one would have been called a ball had she watched it go by, but instead decides to swing at it, fouls it off. Gets Miller back even in this count.
And Gutierrez sends this one into the outfield. It's going to be deep enough. The play at the plate, and that does it. The walk-off win as Raylene Gutierrez delivers the RBI sac fly.
What a battle just back and forth between these two teams. Northwestern throwing punches, getting on the scoreboard to start off this ball game. LSU just chipping away run after run, capitalizing on some miscues, and ultimately it's LSU and Raylene Gutierrez with the walk-off game winner against Northwestern.
Fun, partner, fun. I'm telling you, this field has just been amazing. Just like this tournament is another look at that one.
It's just enough of that pitch, and we had just talked about it. It looked like she was hunting for something on the outside part of the plate, especially you want it up in the zone, something you can get barrel underneath, drive it out to the grass. Textbook sacrifice fly, walk-off.
It was Taylor Pleasance last year with the walk-off here in Clearwater, and this time around it's Raylene Gutierrez as a 13-12 decision goes in favor of the LSU Tigers to remain perfect on the season. Valiant effort from Northwestern. Remember, we've got Tennessee and Stanford, a top 10 matchup coming up in just a bit over on ESPN2. For Madison Shipman, I'm Tim DeGreen. It's been a fun one. Keep on following us at Clearwater.